So let's go ahead and have some fun now. We're going to write a little bit of code. I'm going to go into codepen.io. And then as you can see, it says sign up or log in. That means I am not signed in currently to my account. So I'm going to hit login. I'm going to type in my email address. And then I got to put my password in. And if your students have forgotten their password, they can click on this forgot password option and CodePen will email them a link to reset it. So I'm going to hit login though. And now it brings me to this home page of course, and I'd like to see my profile. So I'll go to profile. And so far, all we should have in here is this first web page that we made with the simple picture and a little bit of text. So we're going to make a new pen right now. I'm going to go up here where it says create, and I'm going to click on pen. And it gives me a brand new pen. If your code editor isn't over here, you can change the view and click on whatever you want, but I like mine to the left. And then if I'm projecting my screen to the whiteboard, what I'll typically do is I'll zoom in so my students can see the text that I'm writing. So I've got my HTML and my CSS right here, and we're going to use both right now. So in this video, we're trying to center some text and we're trying to change the font. So to do that, we've got to add some text. So I'm going to do a less than bracket and put my H1. Then I'm going to do another less than bracket. I'm going to close it and I'm going to put H1 again. So this is my open H1, close H1, and any text that I want goes in between here. So for this activity, you can kind of choose whatever it is you'd like the students to do. You can say your favorite animal, your favorite movie, your favorite place to visit, whatever you'd like. For this one, I'm going to do your favorite animal. So have them type in their favorite animal. And then you'll see the text pop up. So we're trying to center this text. We're trying to change this font. Right now, we have this text all the way over to the left. What we're going to do first of all is center it. So we're going to use CSS for that. There is a way to do it in HTML. I just figure we're going to be using CSS a lot, so it's good to start learning it now. We're going to apply some CSS code every time we see the H1 element in our HTML. So to do that, we have to call the H1. Then we're going to use the squiggly brackets to the right of the P key. So I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to hit the squiggly bracket key. It gives me both the open and the close bracket. So I'm going to press Enter to split them up. Now anything we put in here is going to be applied to this H1 HTML code. We're going to type in the code to center this text. And that looks like this. Text hyphen align center, semicolon. And now the text is centered. So I can move this however I'd like, and no matter what happens, the text stays in the center of the screen. Now, what I've seen a lot of students do is they either forget this hyphen or they spell align wrong. So this is a very good time to reinforce proper spelling. You can't spell words wrong or the computer will not understand it. So we've centered our text. Awesome. The last thing we have to do for this video is change the font. So let's go ahead. We'll open up a new tab and I'm going to type in Google Fonts. And then I'll click this first one that pops up, Google Fonts. And Google Fonts is awesome because it provides a lot of free, awesome looking fonts that the students can choose. So just have them spend a little bit of time and find something that they like. Now for this first one, I'm going to use something obvious just so we can tell that the code is working. I guess we'll use Pacifico. So I'll click on this white plus sign inside the orange circle. So I click it and this black bar pops up. I'm going to click the black bar. It opens and now it gives us some text. And if you notice, I've got two gray boxes here. One here, one here. This first one, it says HTML, and it even gives us some instructions to embed your selections into a web page, copy this code into the head of your HTML document. So we're going to copy this code. So I select the code in this gray box. I press Control C, and then I go back into my code. And the head that they're talking about, if you go in here to settings, it says stuff for the head. You could paste it right in here, and that's the proper way to do it. However, for fifth graders, I like them to be able to easily see what they have available to them. So I have them go to the front of this H1 element in code line 1, and I have them press enter 2 times. 1, 2. So that way their code now is on line 3. And then I have them put the cursor on line 1, and I'll have them paste that box. So Control V, and now there's the link. So they could paste this into the head. However, now they can easily see, oh, I have the Pacifico font. I'm going to go ahead and use that. Nothing happened to our text, however, and that's because we didn't touch this CSS box yet. So there's the second gray box, and it says specify in CSS. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this text. I'm going to press Control C. And then, just like we put the text align center between these two brackets, we also have to paste this code into the two brackets. So I'm going to go to the end of this semicolon, I'm going to press enter. And now the cursor is still between the two brackets. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see 5th graders make. They just go to the end of the bracket. So we're between the two brackets, and I'll press Control V. Now my font family is pasted and my text is modified. So we changed the font. So we've got two pieces of code being called every time it sees the H1 element. So we got H1 here. Anytime we see H1, we're calling this text align center, and we're applying this font to it. So since we got those two things done, the one thing we can't forget is to save this. So I'm going to go ahead and modify the title real quick, and I'm going to put Killer Whale, and then I'm going to hit save. So now this is saved in our CodePen. So if I go to my home page and I go into my profile, I've got Killer Whale here, and there's the other CodePen that I made. So I'm going to stay in here, and let's go ahead and move on to the next video.